Jeff.
It's time to podcast.
Under our bed.
Under our bed again. Here we are.
We're back with a new topic.
Talking about the mysteries.
As usual.
Talking about life. Is this fun anymore?
I don't know if people like this.
Some people like it, but who knows how many?
Yep. Not many.
Not many at all. Sometimes that life doesn't go as planned. Seems like we've been talking about that a lot.
We talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
Seems to be a theme in the Burningham household these days.
Yeah, that's just how life is. Sometimes it's depressing. We should talk about mental fitness today.
There you go.
Mental health.
All right.
How's your mental health?
My mental health is iffy.
Really?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Why do you say that?
How do you measure mental health? That's a hard question.
It is, isn't it? Because only you are in your own mind.
Right.
Like, how do you, maybe it's not, I was going to say, how do you compare it with others? But maybe it's not about comparison, probably, right?
I think it's about comparing with yourself, right? Like, how do you feel today based on yesterday or last year or, I guess, but that's hard because like we said, life ebbs and flows and what's normal for you? You kind of have to figure that out, I guess, right? And
yeah, that's hard. It's hard for me to gauge. Do you feel like it's hard for you to gauge or no?
Yeah, I do.
I feel like you're more intuitive though to those kind of things. So give me some advice. Not really.
I feel like you're more intuitive to those kind of things.
Really? Interesting. So we're both lost.
Yeah.
We're lost together.
I always think, oh, maybe I'm doing good. And then I do yoga. And then I think, wow, I am stressed out.
Why does yoga make you feel like you're stressed out?
Because I realized something. I used to say I don't like doing yoga because I'm already Zen.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a lie.
You think you've been lying to yourself all these years?
I've been lying to myself. Really? Like, I think I don't like doing yoga because it makes me be in that minute, in that moment, and realize how stressed out I really am.
Really?
Yeah. How much anxiety I'm feeling inside. I think that's why I don't like it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So you don't like to face it?
I don't. Yeah, I just don't want to. I don't want to go there. I don't want to deal with that. I just want to keep going.
Interesting.
I think that's
you realized that last night.
Yeah, I did yoga last night, a really short 20-minute, easy little, beginner thing. And I thought, I think I don't like this because I'm trying to push back this anxiety. If I keep going, I don't notice the anxiety feelings or whatever. If I sit here and think, then I have to face it, like you said.
Really?
I think that's why I don't like it.
And you had that realization last night. So what is the balance between pushing forward? I feel like I'm speaking of our culture, the way that we grew up, our lives, we're really good at just pushing forward, push, go, 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 next step. But we're kind of in an interesting time in our lives, midlife, I guess, where, like, what's the next step? I mean, we've had, I guess the next step is our kids growing up, leaving the house, creating families of their own, creating careers, right? But that's that takes years. It's kind of esoteric. We're not in control of it.
Yeah. We're like at the very beginning of that stage where there's not really, it hasn't happened, but it's happening. It's a weird little.
So do you think it's good to just push through, or do you think it's good to sit in your anxiety and try to work it out or to come to peace with it? Like what's good?
Well, what I realized last night is because I was with these younger girls doing it and they did not like it. And they didn't want to sit in their anxiety, which I thought was fascinating, which is what made me realize.
Is that what triggered you?
Yeah, I was like, oh my goodness, this is why I don't like this. I don't want to. Anyway, but last night I did try to breathe and, like really relax. And I noticed a huge difference. So I think pushing through, there is a balance, but I think there needs to be a balance. I don't think I was very balanced. I think I felt naturally I am a more calm person and a more easygoing and whatever. But I do on the inside have a lot of angst, you know.
How do you handle that?
Well, I think I haven't really handled it very well.
So do you have a plan, or you're going to start
thinking? What I'm discussing right now, I need to do better.
Do you have a plan, or you just kind of start formulating?
Yeah, I don't have a plan. Because I just realized this last night. I had this epiphany that's why I don't like yoga.
Wow.
Maybe I need to do yoga once a week. I don't know.
That would be awesome. I love yoga.
I know you do.
So that's what's interesting is I love it. And I've been doing it for years.
What do you love about it? Like, I've been trying to figure this out since I haven't liked it. What do you love so much about it?
And what's interesting is, like, the older I get, I think the more and more I like it. What I used to, when did I start? 10 years ago, 7 years ago? I don't know. Probably mid-30s. When I started 10 years ago, what I loved about it, it was like, I don't know, maybe the one quiet hour of my week. I'm speaking generally. And you know what I mean? Like, except when I was sleeping, it was the only time that was just like me, my thoughts, physical movement, you know what I mean? Breathing. I don't think I'm a good breather. And actually, I think, at least for me, 75% of the benefit of yoga is just breathing.
That's what I noticed last night, too. It's just that
breathing.
Is that I've noticed my breathing's really shallow.
Yes.
And which is a sign of anxiety and stress and tension.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I noticed that last night, too. Like, I actually breathed, like, for real.
And did it feel good?
Yeah.
But it was kind of scary.
It was
felt
like
good,
immediately I was like, oh, okay, life is better.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, what was so interesting last night is you were going out to do yoga with some young ladies that you mentor and teach and help. And you were so angry about it. And I was like, why are you angry about going to do yoga? Like, that should be fun, you know? But you ended up having a good time, it sounds like.
Yeah, I ended up taking the opportunity to enjoy that moment.
So I think that's what I liked. Sorry to go back. I think that's what I liked about it at first, was just that kind of quiet time. But now our kids are older. Our life isn't quite as hectic maybe as it has been in the past. So I feel like I have a little bit more quiet time like that. So I think it's less of that. And I think it's just I think it's the breathing and the movement. It's just staying, trying to stay young and flexible and nimble. And I think it's a metaphor for life too. I don't think it's just the physical body. I think it's your mind, it's your heart. It's just staying loose and so
and
I really
in the
like that.
flow, because there is a flow to it. And that's another thing I kind of noticed. I've done enough yoga that I know the flow of it, like I know, like you kind of do, there's like there's a pattern. And so I noticed as I was doing that, I knew what came next, even though the instructor hadn't said what came next. I knew what came next. And that was helpful for me too, to just like be in this mental state of I'm breathing and I'm flowing. I don't have to think. I'm not thinking about what to do. I know what comes next and I just do it. There's this flow, like I said. And I think that's, something that we don't have in everyday life.
Yeah.
Is this kind of fluid moving through life. It's more of a, okay, do this, and now I have to do this. It's I don't know what's the opposite of flow?
Roadblocks.
I don't know.
Pain, remorse, depression.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but there's whatever's opposite of that is kind of how I feel like we live every day. So I think that's another thing you like about it.
I definitely like that. Yeah.
Is that it's just this natural kind of move through without having to think about it too much.
Yeah, I do like that. I'm a little worried about you.
Oh, you don't need to be worried. I go through these stages, I feel like, in my life of high stress, anxiety, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And here's another thing that's interesting. I think that we don't use the word stress anymore. It's anxiety.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I don't know. See, we're talking about a topic we're not experts at. But I think, obviously there are two types of stress. There's the good stress and the bad. Distress is bad stress. Eustress, right, is good stress. And stress, gets us going, like it helps us.
It motivates.
Yeah. We have a son right now playing basketball in his senior year of high school who's just crushing it, having a great senior year. Anyways, but the point of that is like he's using stress in a good way to be like on his game, right? Mm-hmm. We just had senior night. It was rocking and loud
so
and
much fun,
so crazy, and he handled it with such poise. So my point of that is not to brag about my son, although I love him and I'm proud of him. It's to say like that was the pinnacle of him using like this good stress to be like on point and on his game, to crowd out all the outside distractions, all the literal noise and metaphorical noise, and just do his thing, do what he's done, hit free throws that he shot tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of free throws in his 17 years of life, to just go through that motion and do it again, as if no one was there, as if he was downstairs, in our home court, just shooting by himself.
Yeah.
So the point is so that's good stress. Then there's bad stress, which is too much. I think anxiety is it's like an overstimulation and like too much adrenaline, like adrenal fatigue. I don't know, this is what I'm saying. And I think we suffer from anxiety maybe more than we've like realized or appreciated, Sal.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's what brought up what's the difference between stress and anxiety, because I never heard the word anxiety growing up.
Yeah.
Did you?
I don't remember it that much.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit. Like I was an athlete growing up. So like in a sports context, maybe some, but not like in everyday life.
But it wasn't like, oh yeah, everyone has anxiety. It was not like that when we were growing up. So I think that as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that a lot of the quote unquote stress I felt, because I feel like I was a stressed child in high school, mainly, and college, stressed. I'm so stressed.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of that was a lot of it was anxiety, I think.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I want to ask a really personal question here. That's what Under Our Bed's about. And it's hard to answer, but do you think it's about the people you've been around? I'll take it for myself. Well, you don't have the most zen mother. She may hear this. And
I think she knows that.
Yeah. But you also don't have the most zen husband at all. Like the first 5 or 10 minutes of this, I felt bad thinking, because I'm an anxious person, not, do you think, how much do you suck in? Do you think other people's energy and it just bleeds onto you, into you?
Totally suck other people's energy. And everyone does.
Yeah.
Everyone sucks in the energy around them. That's why it's so important, the term love at home or whatever, like you suck in whatever's there.
Yeah.
And so, yes, for sure. And that does bring me anxiety. Honestly, to be around this high energy all the time does make me anxious.
Yeah.
And again, last night at the yoga, ironically, there was this high energy that I was just like trying to zone out of, which I did during the yoga part. And I felt so much better. So anyway, there is something about that, about the people that you're surrounded with and their energy. And it's not bad.
Yeah, it's just
it's just different. So that's why I need to figure out a way to handle it when it gets too much for me.
I think that's good realization. I think that's great. How can your mother, how can other people with high energy in people's lives, let's extrapolate this to our listening population. Like, how can we be less high energy for the people? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think that's fair. I don't think you need to be less energy.
So you think we should just be what we are?
I don't know that. How do you? It's hard. That's hard for you to be. Why should you be less energy? Because I can't handle more energy. I need to figure out how to handle what tricks and tips I can do to. When it's getting too much for me.
I like that. And it's a very good attitude. Congratulations. It's awesome. But I can also curb my behavior to try to cause you less stress, right? And to cause less energy.
I don't know what specifically that would be though. It kind of varies, right? From situation to situation. That's a hard question to answer, I feel like, for me right now.
But it is interesting. There's been a lot of talk about mental health, mental fitness. Gosh, I've probably thought about mental health more since COVID, the governor's run and then COVID. So what is that, the last 2 years? Than I have my previous 42 years on this earth, maybe. Are you the same or no?
Oh, yes, for sure.
That's so interesting. I wonder if that's exacerbating the problem. Again, I know that awareness is a good thing. I think this is good. I don't misquote me here or misunderstand me. I think that talking about it, understanding it better is good. But I wonder if that also increases the problems. I don't know.
Well, that's an interesting point because I think you're right. We have this kind of push forward culture. And then if you start thinking, oh, well, and you don't notice it as you're pushing forward and you're fine. But then you kind of, now we are starting, it's a topic we talk about a lot. And so now you start thinking, well, maybe I'm not fine. Is something wrong with me? Which I think
maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was.
Yeah, maybe I'm not good.
Wait,
that's kind of what's happened to me, honestly. Yeah. I'm kind of like, oh, wait, maybe I have maybe I'm not good.
Yeah.
And
there definitely is some of that.
And again, I think that it's okay to think that. And I think that's a good thing generally because I think it just pushes us to get better most of the time. But it can be kind of a roadblock too, that we're just saying, oh, maybe I'm not okay. When really you're better than you think you are.
Yeah.
And you just
yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. Well, but the other thing could just be awareness. Like maybe we weren't as good as we thought we were, and now we're aware. Oh, gosh, I do have anxiety. I do need to breathe more deeply. Yes. We've talked about that before. I do need to try to do yoga. Are you ready to join me on my weekly yoga?
Maybe.
I've asked you for years and you wouldn't do it.
Maybe I will now.
Yeah, okay, good.
I'll think about it.
What's changed? What's been do you think it's you want to stay away from the anxiety or? I thought you didn't love the physical movement either.
I don't,
or something
and
like
I'm
that.
not good at. I'm not good at it.
You're
I'm
not
flexible.
Yeah.
I'm not. It makes me dizzy to have my head down. Like your head's down a lot in yoga. I don't like that. I get,
Did you feel that last night?
Not as much because it was, it was a really short, beginner type thing. We weren't so much down as much as you are in a normal yoga session. But yeah, that is something I don't like about it. Maybe I just need to do like breathing exercises, meditation more type things or I don't know.
Yeah. What about meditation?
See, and I've always not liked that either.
You haven't?
Remember when we went to that retreat and there was a lot of meditation and I went to like 1 or 2 and then I said, you go, I'm not going anymore.
You don't like it. You don't want to face these demons inside. You don't, no, I don't know.
You know what I've realized is that my mind, even though I'm a calm and generally on the outside, not anxious person, my mind is constantly going.
Yeah.
And I think that's normal.
Yeah, I think that's true for everyone, right?
For everyone. But it's hard for me a lot of times to kind of, when I feel forced to quiet it, it's hard for me to quiet it. Maybe that's normal too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't done, obviously, a lot of meditation.
Hey, guys, this is our goal. We're going to do better with our mental fitness in 2022.
Yes.
We're going to work on this. We're going to think about this. We're going to think about being anxious. Like right now, under the table, like my legs are constantly hopping. You know that, right?
I do know that.
Is that anxiety? I don't know what that is.
I don't think that's anxiety.
I think that's just extra energy and burning off or something.
Yeah.
Because you're still. By the way, like
I am.
You sit very still.
I am still.
What's it? Yeah, it's very serene on the outside, but on the inside, it's a hurricane.
It's a hurricane. No, I'm exaggerating that. It's not true. There are moments of hurricane, which I think is normal for everybody.
Life is complicated. People are complicated. People go up and down. It's hard. Good, bad.
It's good to be aware and to figure out, like I want to do, figure out how I can, what triggers my anxiety, because there's something different for everyone that triggers it. What triggers it and what tips and tricks can you do to help yourself come back and calm down and get grounded and move on.
Amen, Sal. This is the random show, under our bed random show today.
It wasn't random. It was mental health.
Mental fitness. I love it. I love you, Sal.
I love you too.
Sorry if I caused you to be anxious.
It's all right. You're just being yourself. And I love yourself.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Please leave a rating and review for Under Our Bed at your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to subscribe to the Extraordinary Us podcast with Jeff Burningham as well.
Hey guys, it's Jeff from the Extraordinary Us podcast. Thank you so much for listening to Under Our Bed with Jeff and Sal, my wife and I. We record from a studio literally directly under our master bedroom. It's a great little place for us to hang out and have conversations that I hope are meaningful to you. There's another podcast I do, if you have not heard. It's called The Extraordinary Us, where I interview people, many people that you have heard of from a variety of fields, and we talk about life. Coming up in 2022, we're going to talk about the future. What does the future of the world look like in regards to technology, cryptocurrency, governments, and other things? Can't wait to see you there. Hope that you'll subscribe to Extraordinary Us.